Welcome to our executive interview series at the Elastic Public Sector Summit, produced by FedScoop. I'm Wyatt Cash, and we're here with David Weinberg, Staff Director of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'd like to get your perspective on what you see as some of the key challenges that government organizations face in transforming these massive data sets into actionable insights.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, especially when you look at the federal government. I mean, you've got dozens of agencies. Each one can be its own fiefdom with legacy hardware, legacy software, their own ways of managing and using data. And as you're looking for efficiencies, especially with adopting AI, having some structure around that unstructured data is really important. And that's something that we've been working on the committee. We have bipartisan legislation that would essentially direct agencies to better structure their data in a way that it will be ready to be used by AI. And that would allow a government-wide purchase of AI software, hardware, to maximize the benefit of doing that, such that each agency can take advantage and be ready when we're ready to do that. And there are agencies using AI now and doing it in responsible ways, but we think that making sure the data sets are ready to go is a way to really maximize that utility.
Makes a lot of sense. And then can you talk a little about how important are cross-agency and also public-private collaboration in advancing data analytics and AI capabilities within the public sector?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important both for maximizing good outcomes and preventing bad ones. A really good example we have, and it's something that sort of boggles the mind if you're in the private sector or just sort of a citizen looking at how government works, is that until recently, we haven't really been able to effectively share information between the Department of Treasury and the Social Security Administration to make sure that we're not making Social Security payments to dead people. To that end, we have bipartisan legislation that we're moving forward that will ensure that that data sharing happens indefinitely, and that we are able to make sure that it sounds obvious, but make sure that we're not making Social Security payments to dead people. So that's incredibly important, and that's between agencies. And then in terms of public-private, we think that that's a really important intersection. We believe that the private sector has a lot to offer to the federal government. Not every agency should be generating their own bespoke systems and AI. They should be using off-the-shelf stuff when they can, especially when it will yield really tangible efficiencies. So we're pretty optimistic about that. And to that end, we want to make sure that the public, both from an oversight perspective and from a private sector knowing what people need perspective, have insight into what the federal government is doing. And to that end, we have more bipartisan legislation that would require that every agency produce a public listing of their AI use cases, so people know what they're up to, and then the private sector knows what the agencies need.
Well, terrific. Well, David Weinberg, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share some of your perspective from the Hill on here with us at the Elastic Public Sector Summit.
Absolutely. Thanks for the questions.